I really messed up. This is not good. I am very close, within inches to of rolling off the road. I'm terrified. This is horrible. And yeah, the angle is so scary. I refuse to climb up on my roof to get the traction boards. And the ground is so soft that I would not want to be digging to get them under the tires. And be on the downhill side of the van, because if I had been over just a little bit more, I probably would have rolled off the road. And that is the consensus of all the people that have stopped to help. So yeah, I made a good call not climbing up there. And yeah, some guys from Parks Canada stopped, and they had a sat phone, so they called around, and there will be a tow truck coming from Inuvik. He's on his way. It will be the most expensive tow of my life by far. I probably have like an hour and a half to wait for him to get here still. I'm 40K out of Tuk. I left there today, and I had heard around town that a polar bear was sighted right around here. So I was looking, driving slowly. Thankfully, I was driving very slowly, looking for the polar bear. And I was peering out the window, and next thing you knew, I was here. So, but yeah, I'm still like shaking on the inside. It's been like an hour since, and I refuse to go inside. Frank's in there, and he's still, and I'm just gonna wait and let everyone who sees this laugh at me. Like, I messed up. I don't care. I own it. It's my fault. Yeah, this is, oh. Yeah. A truck weighs about 7,500 pounds. So if it were like a light vehicle, then like a passing truck could probably just tow me out. But it's heavier than the vehicles going by, and it's just a little too close to toppling. It is so steep. This is just not a situation where I want to F around and find out. I don't want to find out anything. I just want to get out in the safest way possible, and that means waiting for a very expensive tow truck. But it is sunny. It's sunny. The view is very nice, and there's a wind to keep the mosquitoes away, or I would be super upset right now. It just feels so close to being like rolling. I feel like it doesn't really do it justice on camera, like how sketchy it feels, but the ground is like extremely soft, and there's like one tire a little bit on kind of solid ground, and my van is really heavy. So yeah, when like all those people stopped, like the consensus was like it's not worth the risk of anyone trying to tow it and it getting worse. And that's what I thought. That's why I didn't get out the traction boards. But I definitely feel just super grateful that it isn't worse. I didn't roll off the road, and I feel pretty confident that this tow driver who's dealt with this type of situation and like even worse before will be able to get my van out safely. Yeah, I was told a story of some like an elderly couple that their vehicle or trailer or camper or whatever was like basically teetering. They were like holding on to it to try to keep it from going over. So yeah, I'm just so glad those Parks Canada guys had the sat phone and like knew who to call, like had the number to call someone. Yeah, or like this would just be so much more of like an ordeal. And yeah, like I said, it's a beautiful day. I've been keeping an eye out for that polar bear because they're not supposed to be this far inland. So it's definitely like desperate for food if it's this far from the ocean. So I don't want to be polar bear dinner, and I'm very patient. I have some downloaded YouTube episodes, so I've just been like keeping an eye out and listening to some YouTube, and just anyone who drives by has stopped to check, so I just wave them along, give them a thumbs up. But yeah, I do feel like a bit of a bonehead, but more so I'm just focusing on the lesson, which is to pay more attention and not be looking for wildlife on the side of the road so closely, and just be grateful that it's not worse. So after a couple hours of waiting very patiently, the tow driver arrived in a 10-ton truck and anchored himself into the ground. He then hooked up my van driver's side front and back tires to bring me up onto the road before bringing me forward to get fully on the road. It was a pretty quick rescue. He has a lot of experience on this road, and even though the tow ended up costing me $655, it was worth it to make sure that Frank and my van are both safe in the end. Yeah, it's happening. Getting rescued. Thank you, Frank, for your patience through this ordeal. It feels really good to be unstuck. But I'm not up for driving, so I backtracked 7 kilometers to this large pullout where I'm going to spend the night because it was more than 100 kilometers to get to town. And there's no other pullouts between where I am right now and Inuvik. And I just did not have it in me mentally or focus-wise to drive that far on a gravel road. I'm gonna veg out and we will continue this adventure tomorrow. Well, hello there. This is a brief interruption with Amanda from the future. This video takes place during a heat wave in the Arctic. But before I continue, I just want to take a moment to recognize the fact that there is a heat wave happening in a lot of places, and a lot of people, possibly yourself included, are experiencing heat way more intense than what I experienced here, which is why it's so important for everyone, myself included, whether I'm being active or just sweating through the sheer heat that I am living in, to replenish electrolytes, which is why I am so stoked on today's sponsor, which is Element. Element is a super tasty electrolyte drink mix that I enjoy every single day. It has this science-backed blend of vital electrolytes and none of this crap that you don't need in an electrolyte drink. They have some standard flavors like watermelon salt, raspberry salt, and lime salt, to name a few of my favorites, but they also have some really unique flavors like mango chili, lemon habanero, and chocolate. And there's also a brand new flavor that I am so excited about. I love this one so much. This is grapefruit salt, and let me tell you, I am not a grapefruit person. I don't eat grapefruit. I'm not one of those little grapefruit fork eating person for breakfast things. But this drink here is so good. So whether you're sweating through physical activities or hard work or hot weather, it's really important to replenish those electrolytes because electrolytes play a very important role in your body's metabolism and the functioning of your nervous system. And if you get deplenished on those, you're more likely to feel fatigued and get headaches, among other maladies. Element is by far my favorite electrolyte drink mix I've ever tried, and I think you're going to enjoy it too. They have a no hassle money back guarantee, and if you go to drinklmnt.com/TIDELINETOALPINE, you'll get this nifty sample pack with purchase. So just choose the flavor you think you're going to like most, and then you get this sample pack, which includes all 8 of their original flavors, so you can share with a friend or figure out which one you're going to enjoy next. And what's great about this deal is that if you go to drinklmnt.com/TIDELINE, whether you've ordered from Element before or not, you're still going to get the sample pack. So if you're a frequent buyer, definitely use my link, keep getting the sample pack, and it supports the channel. So with that said, I hope that you are handling the heat well, and now back to my kind of misadventures. All right, so we are back in Inuvik, and it is hot. It's like 30 degrees Celsius today. So I went and got us a campsite because I have some things I need to do there and want to do there, and then I brought us to the lake so Frank can swim and cool off and have some fun Frank time. Good boy, Frank. You're a fast swimmer. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so it's like 9:30. It is still so hot out. Definitely the hottest day we've experienced this year. And at least my camp is in the shade now, so I'm gonna get to work on greasing my van, greasing the front end. As my van has been a little squeaky, I feel like I need to do it. And it also got just like a little noisier in the front driver's side after getting pulled off the side of the road yesterday. So I think the grease will help tighten it up. And yeah, it's like it doesn't squeak if I go over like 40 kilometers an hour, and it didn't squeak for a few days after I washed it, but this is something I should have on hand. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, old vehicles like mine require manual greasing of the front end, the suspension system, and yes, it makes a big difference. So I got to figure out how to load this and get it flowing, and then I'm going to crawl under my van and search out all 18 grease zerks. All right, we got the supervisor on duty, just like the sign says. Thanks, Frank. All right, so I managed to do it, but I forgot my front end isn't symmetrical, so there is 18, but there's 8 on one and 10 on the other, but I won't be able to tell you if it feels better until tomorrow. Unfortunately, while I was putting the little ring back on the gun to like keep the handle in the compressed mode, I punctured my fingertip with the ring. It's like kind of springy. And let me tell you, punctured fingertip bleeds a lot. There's a trail from here to the bathroom. But yeah, it'll be fine. I'm going to figure out how to bandage this up and then make Frank dinner and go have a much needed shower. It feels so good to get clean. It has been really windy since my last shower, so just super dusty and salty from swimming in the ocean and from the water, from the wind, like mist coming off the ocean. So yeah, that feels great. And then I got so dirty crawling around under my van, so much needed. But it's like 2 a.m. and it is still like too hot out to close the doors. Hopefully I can get some sleep through the morning. It's going to come around that way, so it won't be shining in any windows. I have the front cover on and there's some trees, so I have many hours until it's shining directly on my van again. Well, I've ended up staying here a whole extra day just because it's so hot and I had to get work done. Being set up in camp was the best way to have some shade on the van. And now it's like 3 a.m. And although the sun won't officially set here for 3 more weeks, it is getting low enough on the horizon that with the landscape, there is a perceived sunset. And there's also this tower here that allows you to get up above the trees. So I just went for a walk to the top of the tower to enjoy sunset colors, which I have not seen for like more than 10 days up in Tuk Tuk Tuk. The sun didn't get low enough to make the color, so that is something really nice to see again. It is still very, very warm out. I am all clammy. But I'm going to try to get to sleep a bit earlier than last night, which was like 7 a.m. So wish me luck. I had mixed feelings about leaving in Nunavik. On one hand, I was really excited for what lie ahead, but at the same time, I knew I would miss the Arctic. And as I made my way south, there was something else on my mind. I had a moment where I lost a bit of trust in truck. I fueled up and then the belt started squealing one of the pulleys had seized. I quickly pulled over, turned off the van, and inspected it, and there was minimal damage to the belt. It was still in really, really good shape. I fired it up to try to spot which pulley was the problem, and it worked fine, but it was definitely unnerving before such a long drive in such a remote place. But by the time I got to the Mackenzie River and was crossing that, I started to feel a little bit more at ease and a little bit more of the excitement for what lies ahead, and a bit less resistant to leaving the Arctic. Despite the mosquitoes being absolutely horrendous when there's no wind, something about it really calls to me, and I know I'll come back to the Arctic someday, but I was almost at the Peel River when I really had to go to the washroom, so I pulled over to use the outhouse at the park there and ended up spending the night. I just got really hungry and tired, so I decided just to call it for a day, and I went out and I gathered a bunch of rose petals, which was really nice, but it was quite windy, so I used colt's foot leaves to protect them as I walked around. And then I've had a slow day today. I spent all morning in camp, or early afternoon, it was my morning, just like reading, really getting into this book and writing, and crossing the Peel River felt like an end to a chapter in this long journey. It was the last thing that kind of bound me to a clock for a while. The river crossing isn't open 24 hours a day, so now I'm free from those constraints, and I'm back in higher elevation in the open tundra, and I've found this creek river to camp next to, so the breeze is quite nice, and I've filtered some water, which is the first cold water I have drank in weeks, and it's been really hot the past few days, so this is really nice. I don't really have much of a plan from here. I just intend to take it slower than I did on the way up because I was trying to get to Tuck for the solstice, and now I have many weeks until I have to be in a particular place at a particular day. So I can just really lollygag, and I'll just hang out here until I feel like going to another spot to hang out. And yeah, I'm just going to enjoy the quiet and vastness of this place. Well, here I'm going to enjoy the sound of this river. So I was really craving bread. I haven't had bread in weeks. I have not made bannock on this trip so far, so I decided to make bannock. But I forgot that I accidentally put corn flour in my flour container. So there's like a little bit of wheat flour, but it's mostly corn flour. So they're kind of like halfway between bannock and corn tortillas, but it does the trick to put this stuff on, and Frank is really, really into it, so you can have a little piece, Frank. There you go. Alright, well, the heat was not something I expected to be an issue coming up to the Arctic. So I'm still north of the Arctic Circle, and it has been so hot for days. Thankfully, it's not as hot up here as further north, because further north is almost at sea level, and I'm quite a bit in elevation here, which I expected. And I chose to camp here, even though it's right by the road, because there is a very icy creek. That water is way colder than the Arctic Ocean. So we've been hanging out inside. I just put this tarp up to keep the sun from coming right in the door. But Frank's just like hanging out in the grass there after swimming. Well, swimming. I just carry him down to the water so he can get wet to stay cool. And then I go for a dunk with my linen shirt on, and then this stays wet for like 3+ hours. So I just like wear my wet clothes, and then that helps keep me cool. And it's not as hot here as other parts of BC would be, but there's no shade. There's like almost no shade 24 hours a day. There has been a couple clouds and some gustier winds, which have been amazing, but there's no shade and the sun doesn't go down at night. So, and it just gets really buggy at night. So you have to close up the doors. Like, it's so bad. Even the thermocell doesn't help. So I think this is the best place for us to be during this time. So I've just been like reading and editing and getting work done. And we've just been hanging out and then cooling off in the water, and getting to drink cold water is amazing. It is so good. So I'm taking myself for a walk in the tundra. I have put insect repellent on my whole body. Then I put on clothes. I sprayed my shirt with insect repellent. Then I have my bug net. I am not letting those mosquitoes stop me. It does not seem that bad right now, but as soon as I took this off, they were under my glasses. So if you're wondering why I am breathing so hard on flat ground, it is because it might not be that much uphill, but it is like walking in a sponge. It is such hard work, and you have to be really careful where you step because it's really like undulating with like holes and like mounds, and it's all really spongy. So I'm finding it helps to actually just go a little slower than I can walk, and just to go at the speed of the tundra. And yeah, I'm already noticing some different plants than on my way north when I walked just like further south of here. I'm noticing the cloudberry leaves are all coming in good. So I'm just going up this hill here. I checked it out with the drone yesterday, flew around, and I just figured that'll be a nice walk. And I hope the breeze comes so I can actually enjoy the view, not through mesh. All right, well, I made it up on top. It wasn't far. It was a lot easier walking as soon as I started going uphill because it was hard. It was rocks, or like broken up rocks. But man, it just takes my words away, and there's just an overwhelmed feelings of gratitude and just awe. Just awe at how beautiful it is. So this lens will not show it off properly. So I'm going to switch lenses. I'm going to put on my closer lens, and I'm going to just wander around and dawdle my way back and take in all the little things and bring the mountains a little closer for you. Like, you can go that way for weeks before you're not going to hit a road, like just probably months. So yeah, it's huge. It is huge. The Canadian Arctic is just a vast expanse of wilderness. Well, really the Arctic everywhere is just so inhospitable. It has a very, very low population density. I'm so glad I came extra prepared for the bitey things. There are so many black flies, and the second the sun dipped behind that mountain, just like exponentially more bugs and hungrier. Anyways, I'm sorry I'm so close. I'm not switching lenses. I'll get bugs in my camera. Good morning. It is so nice to be cozy, but the day did not start like this. We woke up because it was too hot. I had the doors open for a few hours. I was trying to sleep, and then Frank woke me up panting, so I got him down to the river to cool off. The water is really icy, like painfully cold, so I had to soak as well. Set up my little tarp for shade because the sun was really intense. And then it just clouded over, and there's been like a bit of rain and a bit of thunder, but I got cold, so I had to take off my wet clothes, which is really nice. So now I'm like all cozy. I got like a blankie and I'm just gonna drink my coffee and read. I finished the paddling story, which I really liked. Yeah, I'm probably gonna read more like Arctic canoe paddling trip books, but I'm gonna start this again. So yeah, this one is it's a lot. It's very tiny text, so it's definitely like a big read, but I have time. And then I'm gonna probably just spend most of the day working, which isn't very interesting for you, but I got my Frank. Where is he? There he is. Yeah, so it's nice. I'm glad for some cooler weather. Makes it a bit easier to work than when it's hot. All right, 3 weeks have passed. It's me, the editing Amanda, from the future of this video, and I'm wearing the same shirt again. I got my hair. I've gotten a good chuckle out of editing that video and seeing the last scene, and then realizing like I'm in the same spot, looking exactly the same. So, yeah, anyways, I want to say a huge thank you for all the encouragement and support, and congratulations on my northbound journey of the Dempster Highway. Thank you for sharing my excitement of reaching the Arctic Circle and then reaching the Arctic Ocean in Tuktoyaktuk. So yeah, I really, really appreciate all the comments and just all of it. It's been so nice. And so I shared 4 videos for the northbound journey. So if you haven't watched all of those, now is a great time to catch up. I'm pretty sure there's going to be 4 videos for the southbound journey. And in the next one, I managed to film a grizzly bear running at camp. So you're going to want to tune into that. Well, you might not, but if you do, it helps to be subscribed. And I think a lot of people also watch this like from their TVs, in which case when you're watching from a TV, you're not able to subscribe or comment or leave a like. So if you feel like it and you have the energy, you could just maybe pull out your phone or a tablet or a laptop and say hi and subscribe and hit notification. And then that way, when you're opening YouTube on your TV, my videos will be more likely to be like, hey, Amanda put a new video out. Because I'm excited for the southbound journey. And after I share all the videos from the southbound journey, we'll have a live stream and we'll hang out and I'll answer the unanswered questions and share some more stories from the Dempster and talk more about what life is like in the north, what kind of resources are on those towns and stuff. Because there was a lot of curiosity, a lot of questions about what exists there in towns and whatnot. So yeah, I'll just like kind of fill in those gaps for you. Because I'm not a great tour guide. I'm not a great like travel video creator. I'm not really good on all the information. I'm better at sharing myself because that's what I know best. Anyways, yeah, I really, really appreciate you watching. A huge thank you to patrons. You guys are so special. And yeah, I got a cute clip of Frank to send you off on your way, and we'll see you soon.